Today we're going to delve into the topic of US admissions, which for many Indian families with older children dominates dinner table conversations. With your 37 years of experience, your perspective and advice will be really useful.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate your invitation. I enjoy being here today. I've been in, as you said, 37 years. I've been a teacher, an administrator. I've done a lot of different types of work, but the primary part of my career has been in college admissions. First of all, we get about 4,500 applications each year for those 550 spots. And our evaluation process is a very holistic approach. Our holistic approach goes beyond just the test scores. It looks into the grades, into the coursework, into the person that the individual is. At the end of the day, what we're really trying to determine is whether they fit our institution and whether this institution is a good fit for them. And by fit, what I really means is, will they be comfortable? Will they provide something to the institution and to our community?
We're working with a student right now who developed this clay water filter, and the water is now 75% more pure than the traditional filters that are currently used. And when I was going through the application with him, he was just more interested to put in all the technical details.
Well, the technical side speaks to the student's abilities on the technical side, the mathematical, the scientific part, but then understanding those impacts and what it means for other people are very important. Engineering, at the end of the day, is a profession that if they do their job well, no one knows they did it.
We have a student who he lives in this small village called Pachankot, and he used to spend every weekend in Chandigarh and did a research project at the Punjab University. During the week he'd have school, and he would be looking after his ailing mother. How do you assess things like social responsibility and leadership and intellectual curiosity, with the limitations of the time and the fact that it's just a 2D application?
I think so. The context is very important as well. The description there that you gave of this young man presents him in an entirely different view than if he were sitting at home, walking 3 blocks to go do what he did, come back. So that shows great perseverance on that young man's part. So as we work through the essay, through the recommendations, they're adding flesh to the bone, so to speak.
They're kind of justifying what the student was actually doing in a way as well, right?
And also creating more of a 3-dimensional human being beyond just test scores and grades. An engineer, scientist, or mathematician can come up with wonderful findings unless they're able to communicate why we should accept those.
Trial and error.
Everyone will ignore it. So they have to be able to communicate.
Tell me more about this 15 minutes, this crucial time frame that the admissions officers spend on each file. What exactly do
You're wanting me to pull the curtain aside so you can see inside?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. We start with a review of the test score. First thing, test scores, yes, okay. Next step, we go to the academic record. The courses taken, the grades received, that's the next step. If they pass that, we go on to other pieces of it, which is more about a personal statement many will provide, what have you. As we review an application, I personally will go through and think, this young man or woman will be in a project team with other students. In the future, there'll be an engineer.
Teamwork is really important here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
An engineer never works alone. They work in teams. We understand them. Can they communicate? Because that's part of being part of a team. Do they have the intellectual ability to contribute to the team? And then at the end of the day, do they fit the environment? All of that's trying to happen in those 15 minutes. And within that, we're also just trying to take into account that this is a human being we're dealing with, not just pieces of paper.
What I sometimes see is that, Indian students try to tick all these boxes. Let me do an internship, let me just do a science project, and I'll do a bit of social work, and then everything will look perfect.
Right.
So we see these, packaged applicants. Do you see that too? Is that like a red flag?
Certainly we do. And after seeing so many, you can identify them. To sit here and tell you how is difficult, but when you do something year in, year out, with thousands of applications, you start recognizing the signs of those. There needs to be reflection.
Yes.
They have to be able to tell us why it was important. They can't tell us it was important. Why?
Beyond the science.
Beyond the science, yes.
Beyond the formula.
beyond the formula. You talked about the young man who did a little bit of work with the clay filtration system. That would be wonderful to hear, but what we really want to know, the next part is, why was that important, and what did he learn from the process?
Just a little bit about financial aid.
Sure.
We have worked with a cohort of students who are superstars. They can't come because finances are a limitation. So does Rose Hulman have any offerings for them?
Our financial aid is based on a number of things. There are merit scholarships for international students. They're somewhat limited in size, but always looking for that wonderful superstar that we would not know of in any other way that we would consider offering additional aid to make it possible for them to attend.
Many Indian families have the notion that attending a brand name school is a lot more important for their child, especially in the long run, for their employability and the network and recognition, rather than doing a degree in a smaller place like Rose Hulman.
Well, if I can be so bold, I think that's a short-sighted opinion and approach. Certainly in the United States, that has evolved beyond that point, where there's a realization that the quality of your 4 years is very important. I always tell families that there's a deep, dark secret of education, that within, you get your degree, and the degree will probably open a door or two for you early on. But by the second, third, or fourth job, it's going to be your abilities, it's going to be what you learned, not what it says on the piece of paper that you received at the end of that instruction. So I would argue there are wonderful places that families should really, really take a hard look at the quality of the education that's going to be provided. I think that many times at the named schools, you find a lot of unhappy students because they pursued that and attended because they thought they had to, rather than that they wanted to. And I think at the end of the day, that's what takes a person further in life than the name on a piece of paper.